Hi, happy Pride.
Happy Pride to you too.
What brought you out today?
Well, I live 10 miles away in Farnham and I'm a priest there, and I think it's really important to show the inclusivity of Pride and how much we're all beloved in God's eyes, whatever we are, whoever we are, whether we're gay, straight, trans, cis, whoever. I'm bi myself, and I just think I want to celebrate with and support my siblings and nibblings who are
Nibblings, I haven't heard that one before.
all right, actually nephews and nieces who might be trans, non-binary, whatever. Right. Yeah, yes.
Okay, yeah. And obviously you've got your "You Will Have to Go Through Me" shirt. I think I saw David Tennant wear that, the Doctor Who actor.
Cool. Yes, yeah. Actually, I might have seen him doing it. Yes, very cool. Yeah, I've been very pleased the way there are certain celebrities who are standing up for a really marginalised group. I'm afraid particularly trans people are very vulnerable these days. They are subject to political attacks all the time, and the way that the Supreme Court decided on what a woman was shocking, because actually they're not scientists. Biology is far more complicated than XX and XY, meaning, you're male or female or male or whatever. It's far more complicated. So, it's all fun here. Yeah.
Maybe they identify as a dog.
Maybe they do, yeah. So, but I really want to stand with my, trans friends, and my best friend's son is trans. And
how old are they?
He is 22 now.
Okay.
Yes.
And did they kind of go through the whole medical process?
Not yet. No. I don't know whether that will be the case, but has been, the trans has been a journey but actually a really good journey. I think came out as trans at 17, I think. But actually tomorrow in church we've got Pride services, and I'll be talking to his mother. He didn't want to do the thing, but talking about, what it is to be trans and in the sight of God, who created a beautiful being.
Now that to me is a very interesting question.
Yes.
So, God and trans and God, we're all God's children kind of thing.
Yeah.
So what's the message of trans, do you think, from a religious point of view?
I have to say transgender is nothing that's ever mentioned in the Bible about it. But my sense of God is that God is this most amazingly, wonderfully generous and loving being. I don't know if you call God a being. That's very anthropomorphizing that. But when we look at Jesus, who portrays God, this is what God is like. Jesus always on the side of the marginalised, the ones unacceptable in society. And I'm pretty certain that Jesus is there among all the trans people, the gay people. I believe God is in every single one of us, which actually means God's in my enemies too, and the ones I don't like, which is always really challenging. And when, someone comes at me with a, very transphobic comment or something, I have to know God actually loves that person, to God's in them. That's a really big challenge. But God, I really believe that, diversity, isn't it amazing? All these wonderful, creative, beautiful people. And my best friend's son, I've known him from a baby, and he's the same person. He's just expressing who he really is. And also, gender is a social construct. We've decided what's a male and what's a female. It doesn't actually link all that much. Well, links to an extent with sex, but not entirely by any means.
Yeah. Now, the relationship between the gays specifically and the church hasn't always been an easy one.
No, not at all.
So on the one hand, it's good to me to hear that now it's inclusive of that. But in terms of the trans side of things, trans and sexual orientation are completely different things. And I've had friends who've gone, through the whole medical process and supported them through that. But a phrase that we often hear is, born in the wrong body. Is that something that kind of fits with, God is perfect and God makes no mistakes?
Well, I think that people, I don't think God went, I'm going to create that person in that body, and then actually that's wrong. Or I'm not going to create this disabled, someone who's got a disability that you might say is not perfect. But actually, these things happen. Someone might be born with something really quite difficult and, to live with. I'm not comparing trans with disability at all. But I'm saying, people are born in all sorts of different ways that are not what we would go, oh, is the, that's the norm type of thing. And that's fine. They are still beloved by God. I suppose I think things just happen. People are born as they are, and God just loves them anyway. It doesn't, I don't think God goes, right, make that one in a female body, but actually they're trans. I don't think that happens. I think people are just born and they are beloved anyway. So,
right.
Yeah.
As a child, I always really struggled with fitting in with these expectations around gender.
Yeah,
I was a very girly boy.
Yeah.
As a teenager, they would always joke, "Oh, I was quite pretty when I was young."
We've got delicate features, haven't you?
Yeah, and that sort of runs on one side of my family. But and I've got a twin sister who's a real tomboy.
Okay.
Right. So people used to joke, "Oh, they swapped you around in the womb." Right?
Yeah.
And on the one that, you giggle, I sort of giggle, but it still shows they have these expectations. Oh, something went wrong. There's something wrong with you. And I do worry that today, if we were, say, 12 today, we might go, we're trans, but maybe not for the right reason.
Okay.
I'm concerned about that, especially when you're talking about puberty blockers.
Yeah.
Because that leads to sterilization. And we know from the Tavistock that most of these children, they end up being gay if they go through puberty.
Yeah.
So I wonder, is there a conflict here between affirming children as trans and that potentially, I'm going to sound a bit blunt, being a form of medical gay conversion? That's a big one.
Okay,
but
that is big.
As a gay man, that's very serious to me.
Yeah, no, I can
and
see
just
that.
to add one more thing into that, there is an endocrinologist or a hormone specialist, one of the leading ones in the world, called Achim Wusthoff. He's German. And he worked with Kim Petras, who's now a Grammy award-winning singer. Right? And the youngest person in Germany ever to have surgery down there at 16.
Yes,
that's very young.
Yeah.
And he wrote a paper in 2018 acknowledging that most of these kids will just grow up to be gay. He said, he acknowledges that, I'm sort of paraphrasing, but trying to keep it as close as possible. This intervention with nature, and that was him talking about the puberty blockers, may well prevent a homosexual development. So it's a leading endocrinologist saying it. And then he said, but I'm happy to take the risk. And I thought, but you're not the one taking the risk.
Yeah, the child is. No, I mean, I wish my best friend were here because she would be able to talk more knowledgeably about that side of things. I mean, it's here, it takes a long time to get puberty blockers, massively long waiting lists. I mean, I'm sure you can get stuff off the web, but not actually, prescribed by a doctor, which is not...
Well, it's been banned now, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, no one should be doing that. But I think the here, it has been very carefully monitored, and you can't get anything major under 18 here. Absolutely can't. I mean, that's not legally anyway.
There's a clinic in Brighton or a practice called Wellbeing, I think, Wellbeing or Wellbeing, and there's a doctor there who. I think it was also revealed a few weeks ago, has prescribed testosterone to even 13-year-olds, females, girls, who think that they're boys.
Yes. Right? I mean, my understanding, because I've known some kids who thought, I feel maybe I'm male and or female or whatever, and then have stopped and said, no, actually, I'm happy with who I am. So, I mean, I think that you have to be careful, but always think you affirm the child. You say, that's fine, you're feeling like that, let's just see how it goes. And I mean, if more of us were affirming to our children who are maybe saying, I'm not sure whether I'm trans or not, I don't know, or I think I am, you go, okay, let's go with it, let's see what happens, that's fine, I believe you, what you've been called, what's your pronouns, and then let them get through puberty and see how, if we weren't so damning of it all, maybe we'd all be it'd be easier, it'd just be a normal process, and some would remain trans and some wouldn't.
This is where I think, when earlier you mentioned gender as a social construct.
Yes, it is. Right?
I see it the same way.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that construct was less rigid, if boys were allowed to be girly, and if girls were allowed to be tomboyish without being shamed for it,
Yeah.
then maybe a lot less people would want to sort of jump ship.
Yeah, I think that's really reasonable, actually. You know, if we could just relax with people a bit and say, yeah, let's go, let's see what happens, then people wouldn't be so anxious about it. And then, you know, like with my friend's son, went through, you know, the process of, oh, I'm lesbian, or I'm non-binary. Actually, I'm trans, and that's fine. But it was a, you know, slow process over a number of years, and it's been really straightforward. I mean, nothing straightforward, obviously, and you know, there's always some people out there who are going to be unpleasant and unwelcoming, but generally it's been quite a good straightforward process, and the family's been, yeah, okay, we'll just go with it. Now, if more families were like that, wouldn't that be brilliant? You know,
I really appreciate you taking so much
That's
time.
all right.
There's one more question, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So I'm from the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And in the Netherlands, that's where they came up with the whole idea of if a child is distressed, then you
Yeah.
can block their puberty.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think that's our finest export.
Okay. Yes.
But a friend of mine from the Netherlands, he has a son who got bullied relentlessly. He's on the autism spectrum. He's just a bit of, you know, an odd one.
Yeah.
Doesn't fit in with the crowd.
Yeah.
Socially, he's awkward. And then he, for a while, thought, I'm a girl.
Yeah.
And he tried that for, I think, 2 years. So he
Okay.
grew his hair out,
Yeah.
got a girl's name, girl pronouns. And then I think it was 2 years after, he decided, I'm going to go back to a boy.
Yeah.
And then he cut his hair short.
Okay.
And I was like, but he could still have long hair?
Yeah, yes,
Right?
that's the social construct, isn't it?
That's the social construct.
My hair, yeah, I mean, have you got? Oh,
I've
you've
got
you've got
it's
short-
down to my shoulder blades.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
But I haven't conditioned it yet, so I haven't got it down.
yeah. I
So,
know.
and there was one thing that he said to me, like, because I asked him, like, as a dad, like,
Yeah.
this must be very hard for you.
Yeah.
And he said, you're the first person who's actually raised that,
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
And I said, what do you think makes your son feel like this?
Yeah.
And he said, well, he feels like a girl.
Yeah.
And then I said something,
Yeah.
because earlier you said, you know, that you feel this way, you feel that way. But girl is not a feeling.
No.
And boy is not a feeling. And I think now we're in a place where people think it's a feeling, and then they're like, I feel this way, therefore I must change. Whereas the hard-learned lesson for me in life, you know, I only learned it in my early 40s, was they're not feelings. So embrace your sex and give gender the middle finger. Whereas I think with trans, it's kind of embracing gender and then trying to fit in with that straitjacket. And that's what worries me, especially considering so many of these kids are probably struggling with internalized homophobia.
Well,
As only one factor, right? There's a lot that comes into it.
Yeah, I mean, there may be some. I mean, I know that there are young people who felt from very, very early on, I just don't fit this body. This isn't what I feel I am. And there are ones who come to that later, and there are ones who are just, I don't know, I'm in the middle. I mean, I think gender is this spectrum as well. Well, gender, I mean, it is a social construct, but, you know, how we feel about ourselves can be all sorts of things. I kind of wander around in the middle, really. I don't feel comfortable in very traditionally girly stuff. You know, I feel...
And you shouldn't have to.
No, exactly. So I'm not worried by it. But, I mean, I think we just listen to a child. We go with what that child's feeling and say, let's walk with you along this.
So let the child lead the way.
Let the child lead the way. And then there is, you know, I think most puberty blockers, my understanding is that they can be reversed, but I don't know enough about that side of it. You know.
I've looked into it quite a lot over the last couple of years, and there's multiple, they're called systemic evidence reviews, and that means that they're looking at as many studies as they can find and look at it all together and like, okay, what's the gist of it all? And it really depends how long you're on them for. My friend's son, even though he went back to a boy, he did go on the blockers because they said it just gives him time to think. But one problem is that the puberty blockers also stop the brain development. And in particular, at that age, it stops the very part of the brain that helps you to become independent, to become more clear thinking. So there is concern from guys like myself, does it actually lock them into their distress?
Yeah.
But it's a lot to get your head around. It's a lot that we need to look into. I really appreciate you taking all this time.
That's all right. I just think we need to be a little bit more tolerant of people and a little bit more humble.
Oh, and here goes another child wearing the progress flag as some kind of superhero cape.
You know, we don't know everything, and that's one of the things that gets me when people say, oh, it's definitely this, definitely that. No, be a little more humble. Listen to the experience of other people. Listen to what they have to say. And, yeah, anyway.
Okay. What's your favourite scripture? If you have one.
Oh, right, okay.
Or one that you find very inspiring.
Okay. Love God with all your heart, all your soul, and love your neighbour as yourself. On this stands all the law and the prophets.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And have a good day.
And you too.
Okay, let me know what you think about this conversation. Obviously, we got all the usual: inclusivity, diversity, marginalized, vulnerable community, biology is complicated, puberty blockers are reversible. We have to go with what the child is feeling, affirm the child. And of course, there was...
My best friend's kid is trans.
Now, when I'm having these conversations in the wild, I'm always having to sort of judge in the moment, how far can I take this and what kind of person am I dealing with? And after I stopped filming, we actually continued talking for a while, and the one thing she said was, you know what, I've never thought about it that way, that this could be a form of gay medical conversion. So if that's the one thing she takes away from this conversation, then in a way I'm happy, because then at least that might open her eyes to it a bit more, because she doesn't strike me as some kind of bad, horrible, evil person looking to do harm. She strikes me as one of these people who actually isn't all that well informed, just has maybe one or two people who are telling her a very pro-trans side of things. And that's why she hasn't looked any further into it. So hopefully this will have opened her eyes a little bit. I thought, watching this back, I'm like, should I have gone harder on they're sterilizing kids? Should I have mentioned that social transition isn't neutral? But then again, it's in that moment where you're like, how much can I challenge? How hard do I go? Without the shutters coming down and the entire conversation being dismissed. So who knows? If at least she walks away thinking, oh my God, what if this could be anti-gay? Then that's something. And now we also know, how did we get here? Well, it's partly because churches are having pride services where parents of so-called trans kids are doing talks to the congregation. Anyways, I'll work on the full video for Pride in Surrey and I'll post that hopefully next week. Ciao! Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to my PayPal and Patreon supporters. Because of you, I can make videos like this. Special shout out to my big spenders. Help Her Open, Mama Turv and the Turventines, me Julie, the lovely Mary, Julia, Dusty, Judels, Leffy, Dorothy, Wildfire, Esther, and Martha. Thank you.